Where Bella is, this is an old, left over from an old forest fire when they logged here years ago. You can see the size of this tree was quite huge. They're not quite that big yet, but almost. It's pretty warm out today. I'm sweating already. Pretty cool spot there, maybe for a shelter, but maybe I'll come back to it. But maybe on the way back I'll stay here a night. But I'm not done hiking yet. I still want to explore a bit more. Bella and I are going out on a multi-day bushcraft camping trip. We have to build a shelter, make a fire, and make home for the next several nights. This might be a multi-day trip where I stay a couple nights in one spot, a couple in the other. Maybe make a shelter tonight that's good enough, add on to it tomorrow. We will see. Nothing is set in stone of what I'm going to do, but it should be fun. Good girl. Good. Bella. Thick bush. Oh, I'm dumping sweat. It's supposed to get really cold tonight, like -12 Celsius. Whatever that is, like 5, 6 Fahrenheit. And but right now it's probably like 34, 36 Fahrenheit, +2, +3. But when you're working that hard, it's exhausting and you start sweating, even though I don't got many layers on. But we've come to an opening here. I kind of cut across knowing I'd hit a creek at some point, and it looks like a beaver swamp. And often you know, depending on how flooded it is, the floodplains might be a good place to set up camp and have a shelter, and you can utilize some of the dead standing that the beaver swamp creates. So we're gonna check that out. Bella's so fascinated by these little creeks in the moving water. It's pretty cute. What is it? What's there? Water? Well, here's the beaver dam. As you can see, it's not holding much water. So maybe these beavers aren't here anymore. Maybe wolves got them. But it doesn't look like it's been maintained, which means these floodplains should be pretty open for shelter building, and it should be easy for me to get around and get some of this dead standing, which, you know, on frozen pond would be okay too. But often beaver ponds, they have current and ice can be sketchy, but also it's spring and everything's melting, and so it could be sketchy, but it'll be all right this time, I think. too. She's pretty cute. Oh yeah. Well, if we decide to camp here, I'm gonna have to be careful because the ice is too rotten to be safe. It looks like just this area here is deep. Bella, off! I'll have to watch her. Bella, come on. You can see I broke through here. Right there. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Gets dark at about 7, which means I have about 5 hours. I think we're gonna try to build a shelter here. I just like the clearing and the openness. It's kind of nice. The bush is sheltered more, but it's really dense and dark. So we got our work cut out for us. But we've been walking for a while. The bush is thick. It's really challenging when you're pulling a sled. Normally I wouldn't have to pull a sled, but because I've got Bella and it's cold, I have to bring her a lot of gear too. So, and the camera gear is bulky and annoying. Anyway, we'll get started. As you can see, this pond, there's the dam. It's not holding water anymore, really, so it's holding a bit, but the floodplains, normally the water would be up to here, but it's not anymore, so that gives us some space. And we'll make it safe to utilize some of this wood for firewood and shelter building. I think this is where we're going to set up camp for the night for a few reasons. There's lots of dead standing that we can access. The dam isn't being maintained, so it's not so much of a risk of falling through the ice because the ice is pretty rotted now. And there's lots of materials here for me to use. All the dead standing from the beaver pond, and often on the shore, the bank of a lake or a beaver pond like this, there's tons of boughs low down because the light gets to them. So in the forest, the branches don't grow till much higher up, but here they're all along the shore. I got fir, which is really soft. I got hemlock, I got white pine, and lots of other dead standing spruce and all kinds of stuff. And so I should be able to you know, build a shelter and settle in for the night. You can tell that south just by how there's tons of snow on the other side of this bank, and how this side is completely melted. And so I'm going to put the opening of my shelter facing south to get some of that heat from any sun.
Making a platform, raised platform. I would have liked to have been a little higher, but I couldn't utilize these structures if I was. So still the ground isn't level anywhere. I still would have wanted a raised platform. And because the swamp is dry, it's not that wet here. It's a little damper than I would want. Ideally, up there would have been better, but my fire will be fine. It'll dry all this out, and I should be good, and I should be warm, high and dry with this. Looks like I need 3 more pieces, then some boughs, then just start laying logs. I'm starting to get a little nervous because it's getting late and I got a lot to do still, and I know the temperature is going to really start dropping. A lot of the wood in here is cedar, which is nice because it's super light for me to carry around. And it'll be really good kindling and fire starter, but won't burn as long. But there's tons of dry wood around here. If you notice, I haven't really had to walk very far to already do everything I've done, and I still have tons. And along the shore, there's tons of dead wood too. A couple more like that, and the base of the platform should be done. Also collecting firewood at the same time. So all these end cuts here, branches, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I'm gonna put these bigger, thicker branches on the bottom to spread the gaps. Hold it together. Then I'll come back and weave some finer stuff through. Hi. Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Bella. Bella. Good girl.
Shout out to Built Bar for sponsoring today's video. I've been eating these bars now and they are delicious. I typically bring protein bars on my trips because they're so vigorous and hard. But the thing is, a lot of the other bars are disgusting, and so you eat them because you have to. You're not actually looking forward to eating them. So this is a welcome change, I gotta say. They got 18 flavors, 6 of which are new, and they've improved the texture and flavor of all the bars across the board. You can expect the same consistency through the bar with every bite. For those that are gluten-free, Built Bars are gluten-free, and they got 17 grams of protein in them, 130 calories. If you want to load up on some more, just pack down another bar. Built Bars have always stood out as tasting really good, but the new and improved ones taste even better. Actually looking forward to eating these as opposed to dreading eating some of the other ones. I might end up eating them too soon and not saving them for when I need them because they're yummy. My favorite flavor is the salted caramel one. That's my go-to at the moment. They really are better.
I've made this fire pit here like this for two reasons. I can have a long fire to cast heat back at me and Bella. I didn't finish blocking in the sides, and you know, it's dark and it's getting cold, so I want to be able to have a good fire. Luckily there's tons of wood, and I got tons already just here from building this thing. And I also hauled this big ass rock over to help reflect the heat. You know, a better reflector would be better, but these rocks are all going to heat up too. So even if my fire dies or is smoldering, they'll all hold the heat for a long time. Luckily, you know, all these rocks are just here. I mean, that's pretty unusual, but take what you get, right? That's nice. Wow. That long fire, and this is really holding it. If I could block in the sides, it would make a big difference. Cool. What a gem of a spot. Look at this rock. Gotta say, having this long fire really freaking amps things up. It's toasty. You can tell the temperature's dropped a lot. Bella's not cold being around the fire yet, but I do have a wool blanket and a Canada Goose jacket for her. I've got a -18 bag. I also even have a bivy bag. But the long fire with all the rocks, it freaking really is hot. I mean, I guess that's obvious, but at the same time, like, the difference between having just a normal fire and this is enormous. And it's only going to get hotter as these rocks heat up. Looking forward to the steak and a drink of water. Are you looking forward to some steak? Gently. It's actually a really nice time of year to do this, even though it's supposed to get cold tonight. It hasn't really. Must be getting cold like super late in the night, or maybe it won't get that cold, but it's essentially spring. It's March 18th, and this is a great time of year to come out because the days are longer and generally a bit warmer.